Good morning once again, and thank you for joining us for the Twitter Jabs Part 2. And the subject matter this morning is bias in education, and this is particularly relating to the girl child. Now, in studio in me, I have Ellen Chiwumulo, and she is a teacher, psychologist, and she's also the executive director of Family Comfort Foundation. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning, dear. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How is your morning? Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm grateful.
Well, we are talking about bias in education this morning. But before we dig into it, what is a bias? Because many people wonder, like, what is a bias? So what is a bias?
Now, bias is unfair treatment for based on, it could be groups, it could be individuals, but it's unfair treatment when there are two parties. Your mate could be biased, for example, now looking at the girl child, looking at women. It could be that when we are favoring, it could be that we are too much into the girl child or the boy child. So that unfair treatment is what we call the bias. And according to our topic in the education in the bias with the education with a girl child education, it so happened that globally girls were raised for lovely maidens and wives.
Yes.
That's what it's always been. That's what girls were raised for.
Yes.
But with different campaigns, things came changing. And we are looking at the global campaign came in so much ever since 2000 to 2015. So this is when the campaign now was so much on to keep girls in school because to break the other bias of lovely maidens and wives. So we had registered quite a number of the increment in the girl child in school from 2000 to 2015. Unlike the pandemic that has put us
just took you 5 steps back.
Yes. When we look at this globally, it is strange because at times we feel we could not look at it so much of a struggle, but when we look into the statistics, it's taken 20 years. It's taken a 20 years campaign to raise the number of working women to 11%.
Wow.
20 years to raise the number of working women to 11%. Now this cuts across. Some could be educated women or not. But the campaign of keeping girls in school 17 years back that's when the whole world got into one boat to make sure the campaign is taken on. Now, it is from 2015 to 2000 to 2015 that yes, now we were getting on board and yes, it's becoming normal for girls to be kept in school. Now, 2020 put us back because of the pandemic. So now you can imagine the level of bias at which we are.
Yes.
When it comes to the poor families, for the very poor families, we are looking at the 15 million girls in 15 million families may not go back to school or are likely not to attend school because of poverty. Though the 10 million boys in families are likely to go back to school. Actually, are likely to go to school even when there is poverty. Do you see what it is?
So are you saying that poverty propels this bias in education when it comes to girls?
Yes.
Because of poverty and other issues such as gender roles.
Yes.
Okay, so they expect the girls now, since there's not enough money, stay at home. And I'm guessing after the pandemic.
Even before.
Yes, before, yes. But I think it's accelerated now after the pandemic, or I wouldn't say right after the pandemic, we're still navigating the pandemic, but most parents have lost their livelihoods. Yes. So I guess they need like someone to help with the labor at home to do this, to do that. So then like we are going back, it's like we're going back to what you've been trying to find.
Yes, we are now. We had 360 girls every year going out of school and having these are girls who are dropping out of school or having the adolescent pregnancies every year. Then before COVID-19, there were 360 girls at least
per year. Wow.
360 girls
per year.
Before the pandemic.
COVID.
Now, after the pandemic, things are different.
Yes.
So when we look at these things especially in this month of the women, this is our month.
Yes, it is.
It's good to share out such that we realize how much effort we have to put when we are addressing the girl-child issues, because yes, we are really vulnerable. We are really vulnerable. We need help. We need, I was happy when I saw the raising voices, keeping girls in school, even when they are pregnant. Yes, we have to devise means. How do we keep them in school? Because we desperately need them in school. Yes, because train a woman, train a nation.
A nation, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So apart from pregnancy and poverty before the pandemic, what are other biases that girls face in education? Okay,
now, the fact that when it comes to the cultures, some cultures feel, yes, even when I educate the child, they'll marry them off. And when there is a small research I had some time back, the fact that the girls go in for the menstrual cycles,
yes.
Some parents feel they cannot cater for the pads, they cannot look for the pads. So what they do, they would rather marry them off to save themselves from that burden. Actually, when it comes to the research with Northern Uganda, girls are turned into brides because of lack of sanitary pads. This cuts across.
Wow.
Throughout Africa. That's one of the things that have made girls not go to school, actually have made girls drop out of school, are sanitary pads. Yes. So the campaign of making the reusable pads or making people know how to make pads is because because we need them in school. And
yes.
This increased our numbers to another level. On the other hand, we do a lot of talking to girls, but we don't do a lot of talking to boys or men. There are things that look normal to men. For example, it's like, much as these girls get pregnant, people don't come up aggressively to talk to men about this, because male voices matter in this.
They do. And and I think as a community, we should stop excusing the boy child. Like we are saying, during this pandemic, about 100,000 girls have become pregnant. But if you even look at that statement, there is no boy in that statement. Who made them pregnant? They're just out of these conversations. And the girls get to miss school and the boys get to continue with their education. So I think we should be, yes, having those conversations.
Yes, and this is strange when we're in schools and we are teaching. I told you, I'm a teacher and a psychologist. Yes. And when we're in school, this happens. Boys are very proud, even touching them and beating them. But my dear, I'm not a father.
Are you serious?
I'm a father. I'm a father of 2. You see? Now, boys are posing over being fathers, which is okay. But where are the mothers? Where are the mothers who they impregnated?
Yes, where are they?
We need men on board. We need male champions on board. Male voices matter in the girl-child pregnancy. Male voices matter in our wellness, in the wellness of women. We desperately need men on board. We need their voices in here. So it's important to call upon men to see that we sort some of these things. They can really be of good help. They can be of good help. Mm-hmm. We can champion these things through the schools of the boys. We have the Mwiri, we have the Ntale. Let these men come up on board and campaign and, and speak to their fellow men. So when men do the proceedings on women, nothing happens. And men are proud out there. When you look at the adolescent pregnancies, most people who again have the lines of the adolescent girls are big men. Look at examples of Bundibujo. We have Bundibujo, we have the North, we have the Eastern. This is where the big numbers of the adolescent girls are, the adolescent pregnancies are.
Yes.
But remember, this was before the pandemic. Now, after the pandemic, the numbers are very big. So
yes.
The level of vulnerability is going high. And most of these girls are joining the workforce because they have to look for food
to fund
to fund them. Globally, with the research from UNESCO, it says around 11 million girls worldwide are not going back to school. But remember the other number of 11% having risen after a 20 years campaign. So
there's much work to be done.
There is a lot of work to be done. We call upon government institutions, NGOs, we call upon schools. Yes, we need to work together to make sure that we put the girl child in school.
So how, in what particular ways can we help girls go back to school? Like even after when they were pregnant and they have given birth, they give them like room for them to breastfeed their children, because as a mother, you know, you can't leave your child is like your handbag. Yes. You can't leave him or her anywhere because you have to breastfeed. So at least them giving these rooms to breastfeed within the school premises is another way to keep them in school. What are other ways that we can mitigate all these challenges that we are facing, especially now after the pandemic? What can we do to meet them halfway and make sure that they stay in school?
Now, here we need the parents, first of all, to support their girls in school. Much as we are planning shelters for them to breastfeed at school, it's also the concentration levels go low. Yes. And the social labels, you know, we have to work about the social labels, campaigns in schools to children, to support their children back to school, their fellow students back to school,
who are
mothers. But we call upon parents to support their children. If possible, let them take care of the children from the home. Then when it comes to the girls, I keep telling them that challenges promote us to another level. For the pregnant girls, for those who brought in, for those that things happened in that way, yes, welcome to the upgrading board. You know, it's out of mistakes that we are promoted into another life. So yes, you're welcome to the world of heroes. With the mistakes of pregnancy, yes, you have to make it to prove the world that things can still be better. I keep telling my girls, usually, that yes, I'm a product of mistakes. And it's mistakes which qualify us to other levels. I can speak with you because of mistakes. So my girls who feel things are not moving on well, who feel you got pregnant, yes, give yourself a second chance. We are proud of the parents who have come on board and given the girls a second chance to go back to school. But I also plead to the girls to give themselves a second chance too, because you can give the second chance to the girls, yes, as parents, and they fail to forgive themselves, to cope on with a second chance.
Or they fail to forgive themselves.
You know, it is important to forgive yourself. You're not the first one in this thing. You're not the last one. These things have happened, but it's important to turn your mess into a message.
Oh, that is very profound. Mess into
a message, yes.
And I totally agree with that. I think that girls out there who are pregnant, teenage girls who are pregnant and have had to leave school, like, your life has not stopped. You can still go on to be whoever you want to be.
Yes.
I also had a teenage pregnancy and I had to leave school for a couple of years, but I went back and I pursued my dream, and here I am. So if I can do it, then you can do it as well. It's not the end of the world.
Yes, actually, the beauty here is you can talk about your past with confidence.
Yes, I can.
We also have our mistakes, but you can still make it. So the vulnerability of girls or women turns them better.
Adversity builds character.
You know, so don't label yourself, don't feel sorry for yourself, but stand again. You can always stand again. We shall always be proud of you as teachers, as mothers. Yes, we want you to be part of the change. We want you to be agents of change, even with such mistakes. In school, there is something I want us to keep moving on. Now, for example, the male champions in schools, the boys,
yes,
have to make workshops or clubs to keep their fellow girls in school. We campaign for that. Then there are COVID clubs to share out what transpired during the COVID.
Oh, the experience.
You know, and how do we make the world better? Because we are no longer dealing with children, but we are dealing with young adults. COVID has all of a sudden made us grow up.
Yes.
You know, there are two things. There's growing old and growing up.
Yes.
Now, each year we grow old, but growing up is a choice. But now that COVID has taken us without even a choice, but we are now grown-ups. We've begun looking at things from a different angle. Now that is the COVID. So the experience we've got with the young adults, we can really become agents of change out of the global pandemic.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
I believe we can. Madam, before we go, I would like to listen to that caption of the women's anthem, that it says to look after the girl children and make sure they have hope and their dreams are, yes.
Now, for the women, first of all, I'm proud that I'm a woman. Usually I refer to women as flowers. I'm proud. I'm a proud woman, and I never cease to appreciate the role of women. And in our women's anthem, this is how it is. A little motivation about what it is. It is mothers, daughters, all women everywhere, stand up and embrace your role today. Mothers, daughters, all women everywhere, stand up and embrace your role today. We are the proud mothers of a nation, the backbone without us which can never stand. We wake up, we wake up at the crack of dawn and feed our nation with our breast. We love and joy, we care for our baby Uganda. So now, women out there, we are so proud of the role you've done. We are so proud when it comes to parenting, you have not given us up. When it comes to the marriages, you have not given up on the marriages. When it comes to the hard work to see these children in school, women have not given up. If you went to hospitals, you'll find women taking care of children, taking care of husbands, taking care of people. When it comes to the late markets, the vendors, yes, it's women running around, but all because they want their children in school. If you go to markets, yes, you'll find women are there. Women have begun doing the bricklaying. Women have done it all for our good. Women, we cannot thank you enough, but as we are looking at the Women's Month, we are proud of you, and we are praying to see that you make it, even after the COVID-19. Turn the message into a message. We are very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And that was Ellen Chiwumulo. She's a teacher and psychologist, and she's very well versed in the education sector. Today's topic of discussion was the bias that the girl child faces in education in Uganda. And as you had from Ms. Ellen Chiwumulo, she has said that this has actually accelerated because of the pandemic. So there is so much work to be done, and all parties, hands need to be on deck to just get this show on the road and make sure that girls go back to school and stay in school. Well, that was all we had for you on the Twitter Jabs Part 2 with me, Sandra Combe. But don't go anywhere, because it is time for our views. But before that, we are going into wellness, and Sarah will be talking about diabetes. Don't blink.